How many countries exactly are there in our planet? It depends on who you ask. Not all countries recognize the same list of other countries. Turkey, for instance, recognizes Northern Cyprus as a separate country, but no other countries recognize Northern Cyprus. The least controversial number is probably 194. The UN has 193 members, and the Holy See, i.e. the Vatican, is a non-member observer. There is a second non-member observer, namely Palestine, but while the Vatican is widely recognized, Palestine is only recognized by 137 countries. Then there are the Cook Islands and Niue. Both are essentially dependencies of New Zealand, but since they have the right to make treaties independent of New Zealand, they could be regarded as separate countries. Next is Taiwan. According to the UN, the People's Republic of China administers Taiwan. But Taiwan does have a separate government, which is recognized by quite a few countries. This brings up to 198 countries. Then there's the peculiar case of the Western Sahara. According to the UN, the status of Western Sahara is to be determined and has been so since 1971. In that year, Morocco invaded and annexed Western Sahara, a move that was not recognized by most other countries. Today, there is a Western Saharan government in exile. Most members of this government have never set foot in Western Sahara. To make things more complicated, at some point, Morocco erected a wall, in most places, basically a dune, and only administers the land west of the wall. This wall does not match up with the Mauritanian border, so there's a narrow sliver of land that is not administered by Mauritania, nor by Morocco. So, can we call this sliver of land a separate country? Your guess is as good as mine. In any case, you could see Western Sahara as country number 199. And then there's the even more peculiar case of Sealand. During WW2, the UK built a number of platforms out in the sea for anti-aircraft guns. After the war, the UK abandoned these platforms. One of these platforms, Ruff's Tower, was then seized and claimed by a local family. Now, is Sealand a country? There are a few arguments in favor. According to international law, at the time of its creation, Sealand was outside the UK's territorial waters. Through the years, in a couple of UK court cases, judges have declared that the UK has no jurisdiction over Sealand. After some German mercenaries got themselves detained when they tried to invade Sealand, the German government sent a diplomat to Sealand to negotiate their release. This could be seen as a de facto recognition of Sealand by Germany. There is, however, a big detractor, and that is that the UN only recognizes claims of land that is above sea level. And the only parts of Sealand that are above water are artificial structures. So, if you really want to, you could get to a nice round 200 countries if you count Sealand, but it's quite the stretch. There are also a bunch of countries with very limited recognition. Most are the result of a relatively recent civil war, and their actual status probably won't be resolved for another couple of decades, if ever. These are Transnistria, Moldovan lands with a large Russian population, declared independence, which was not recognized by Moldova. Artsakh, Armenian lands inside the borders of Azerbaijan, left over from the Nagorno-Karabakh War of the mid-90s. Abkhazia, Georgian lands with a non-Georgian population, split from Georgia after a war in 1994. South Ossetia, much the same story as Abkhazia. Northern Cyprus, Turkish part of Cyprus, established after a Turkish invasion in 1974. But, all in all, the safest answer is probably 195.